This time I'm using a rose image. Now you'll notice I have multiple colours in my rose, and the actual rose itself does not have two colours the same next to each other. This makes it much quicker to digitize, especially if you want to use auto digitizing to start with. So once again, I'm just going to remove those white areas from the back of the image by holding my control, hit delete, and then I'm just going to generate the design. I'm going to move the image from around the back. Next, I need to determine what I'm actually going to do as far as digitizing the flower. So to start with, I'm going to work from the center of the flower outwards. So I'm going to right click on that blue area, and I'm going to choose a color that's darker yellow, because my rose is going to be in yellow shades. So I might use that darker tone of yellow. I want to do a satin stitch, and I'll generate that. I also want the piece next to it, the same color yellow. I also want a satin stitch, and I'm going to generate it. Now I want the purple part, the same color, change it to satin and generate it. And now we'll have a 3D look. That's going to be the center part of the rose. Turn off the 3D. Now I'm going to work the areas around the outside here. So first of all, I'm going to right click on the green area. Now I'm going to choose a shade of yellow that's a fraction paler. Once again, I'm using satin stitch, and I'm going to generate. Now I'm going to select that brown area, change to satin, use the same color as I just used, and generate, and select the red. Again, the same color, and satin stitch and generate. Now we can 3D view, and we have other parts of the rose. That yellow to me is still a little bit bright, so what I might do is right click on all those three parts of the design, and I might just tone it down a fraction. So there we have the yellow area around the rose there. The next part, we're going to be the purple area, and I'm going to do the green area. Once again, I'm going to do satin, and I'm going to select a paler color, and I'm going to generate. And you can see now that we've actually got three colors of yellow there. For the next three outline shades, I'm going to select them, change to satin, and again choose a paler lemon color. This one's actually nearly white, so I'm just going to generate it. Not much distinction between those two colors there, so I might even grab those again and choose the next shade up, and then grab those ones again and choose a darker shade. Now you can see we have a subtle blending of actual colors. If I select that color, it selects all the pieces that actually are the same color. So I'm just going to select those and move them to the bottom of the color schemes. Now I'm going to generate and select the next color, which were these two parts of the design, and this time I'm going to move them down the line. Now, having looked at this, I probably will decide, rather than go to the effort of trying to juggle these around, I'll go to my accessories, set stitching order, and I'm just going to click on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and just enter, escape, and generate. Now that's sorted the flowers for me without me manually doing it. Now I'm just going to select these leaf areas and change them to a paler green. Whilst they're both selected, I'm just going to move them up to the top area. Now I have the other three areas left to stitch out next. I'm going to select these areas and change them to complex fill and generate. Select the stalk, change it to satin and generate. Now I can actually select all those areas and generate again. And there you have your rose. Now I'm not happy that that is away from the stalk of the flower, and I'm also don't want the rose quite so large, so I'm going to select all the areas, select my resize and move that down to a 70 and click OK and generate. Now I'm going to merge all those, and I want to select that, hold down my control key and the other part of the leaf, and I'm going to merge them. That way I can click on it and I can actually rotate it a fraction, and I'm just going to bring it down to the edge of that stalk. Now I select all those areas again and I'll merge them back up again. I might move it into the center. And there's the actual rose that we've just digitized. You could also save that if you want to, and then you could select all those areas and change them a complex fill and generate. You have a very flat looking rose by doing that because you lose the definition in these areas. So I'm going to select them again and revert them back to satin stitch. Don't be afraid to try different things on your design. Now I know by looking at this area in here, that's going to be a very wide satin stitch. So what I might do is just zoom into that area, and then I'm going to right click and say adjust with an arc. Now I want to put a point there, and I'll get a green dot and then come over to this side, and when I move my cursor you'll see that blue area. If I select that, I can just reduce that down a fraction in size, click enter, escape and generate, and zoom back out again. That's actually reduced the size of that so that machine will not feel so stressed stitching out that wide area. That's very basic. We'll be coming back in a moment and just play a little bit more with that rose.